Okay, so the first formation is going to be the 3-4 under. As far as the personnel goes, it's really not that good of a run defense because of how we shift our line. It makes it kind of hard to stop the run out of this formation, even though it's a 3-4. So I just recommend having good shedders on the defensive line. Your best pass rusher really needs to be out here. Now, keep in mind, over pass rush, it needs to be speed. Speed is more important. However, if you have a crazy linebacker like Team Diamond, Jadeveon Clowney, that's where you're going to put him. You want to put him over here on the right of screen, outside linebacker. Right here I have Oluokun. I think that's how you say his name. Not 100% sure. But he's got like 90 speed. I prefer that over good pass rushing traits because he's the one who's going to get free most of the time on these blitzes. Everybody else, I just recommend having good sheds because if you don't have good sheds, you're gonna struggle to stop the run out of this formation because we shift our line up and there's a little gap and sometimes we hover over the left guard and it's just not the best run defense. Gonna keep it 100 with you guys. All right, so the first setup, I mean, actually these setups are universal, but the plays I personally use are Tampa 2, outside linebacker strike 2, pretty much the same thing, but you don't have to blitz the outside linebacker like you have to in Tampa 2. And then we also have, I mean, you can use pretty much all of these plays, like cover 3 match, cover 2 hard flat. You can use all of those, but you only really need Tampa 2, outside linebacker strike 2, cover 3 sky, wherever you are, cover 3 sky, and then also middle linebacker crossfire 3. We're going to start with Tampa 2. That's the best one in my opinion. Okay, so what we're going to do, just come out against split close or something. And this is an extremely easy setup. We're going to base a line, spread our defensive line, crash them up, double tap RB twice or R1 to bring up the linebacker menu. We're going to hit the outside linebacker on the right, which is B. Right stick down to blitz him. At that point, all you have to do is hold left trigger or L2 on PS4 and then RB or R1 on PS4 for quarterback contain. Once you do that, you're going to adjust your coverage. You always pretty much want to put this guy in a deep blue. And then you don't have to, but it does make the blitz come in more frequently, is hover right here over the left guard. All right? All you have to do. Blitz will come in more often than not. He just screams right in. Practice mode, you're going to see he gets picked up sometimes. In games, yeah, sometimes he gets picked up because a blocked running back on that side is going to pick him up. So I'll show you. Let's go ahead and block the running back. You're going to see that it gets taken care of. More often than not, he gets picked up. But it's still a really good pass rush, and you're sending 5, and they have to block 6. And that kind of limits their route combinations a little bit. At that point, you're winning. Whenever you can send 5, get good outside contain, and get 1 free, you're doing a good job. You do have an advantage over the offense at that point. Very easy setup. Comes in very quickly if they do not block. Okay, so you're probably wondering how it comes in out of these other plays. It comes in the exact same way. So you're going to see, for instance, cover 3 sky. So I want to explain something out of the cover 3 sky. So the coverage gets a little weird here. So spread your defensive line, crash up, blitz your right of screen outside linebacker, and then contain. So the exact same setup. But you're going to notice we user this guy, and if we hover over here, we're exposing the flats on the right side. So here's what I personally like to do. When I run cover 3 sky, I recommend running an actual cover 3 coverage. So what I would do is put this guy in a purple. For now, we'll change him in a second. And then we're going to put this outside linebacker in a hook. And then we're still going to user this guy. And you don't have to hover if you don't want to. But in this case, I'm going to. And then I'm just going to get to this side of the field. And this is my responsibility. So yes, we're only sending 4. It will come in free sometimes. Sometimes it will get picked up, just like many other blitzes. But if they block a running back, it's of course going to pick this up. But now we can go to clouds. And now we have a normal cover 3 defense with a chance of a guy coming free. This is what I like to do to have better coverage. They got picked up that time. But you're still going to get pretty good pass rush here. The reason I recommend doing that is because, like I said, if you just leave it like this, I mean, if you're going to keep using this guy and you're going to be hovering over the left guard, you're going to really have a big weakness on the right side of the field. You don't want that. If you want to keep this exact coverage and you want to keep that guy on the left blitzing or on his contain, just don't hover and user this guy and just user the entire right side of the field. Be ready for any kind of flat passes. But what I recommend doing, if you're going to be using this guy, do not move him around and tip off to the defense that you're using him, because once you do that, he's going to pick up that you're in cover 3. But when you're hovering with this guy, he's going to be like, okay, so whenever he hovers over the left guard, he's going to be in Tampa 2. So just don't do that. Don't tip it to the defense. Just keep your guys still. If he doesn't have an identifier on his offensive line, he's not going to know what coverage you're in. So just mix it up. Make sure he doesn't know which guy you're using. And then you'll see sometimes it will come in, sometimes it won't. But this is practice mode. I wouldn't really take this too seriously in regards to how often it comes in. There we go, comes in. So it works the same out of all of these plays. For instance, I talked about outside linebacker strike 2 and wrong formation. I'm not going to go over it because it's the same thing as we just went over. But you just don't have to blitz the right of screen outside linebacker. But keep in mind your guys are in soft squats. I'll go into it real quickly. So if I ever run this, I actually like to get a little bit more crazy out of this. Since we have soft squats on the outside, what I recommend doing is actually sending 6 and then using the entire middle of the field. If you're going to do this, be very careful. You better have good user if you want to get this risky, because they can kill you with a seam. If they max protect, you're not going to get the pressure. But against a blocked running back, you will. We have soft squats on the outside. If they're in a different formation like gun doubles or something, the wide receivers on the outside, they're going to man up if they streak them, and they're not going to get open against the soft squats. So that's the good news. So let's go ahead and snap the ball. We get 2 in. If they block a running back, 1 is going to get free. But if they block both, you better be damn sure you're covering that seam between the safeties. Otherwise, you might get bombed. And the last play out of 3-4 under that we're going to go over is going to be middle linebacker crossfire 3. Very good play. So if you want a crossfire look, you want that 3 rec. This is what I recommend calling. Against a good player, he's going to realize it's a crossfire because he's going to see that this guy right here is creeping up, kind of like a crossfire, obviously. All we're going to do is same setup. Spread your defensive line, crash up, blitz your right of screen outside linebacker, and contain. After that, you should get free most of the time. Now keep in mind, I usually like to stack. When I run this crossfire, I actually don't care if he knows it's crossfire. I'd rather just be able to cheat to the right side of the field as well as stop the run better. So we're going to stack on top of this guy and then cheat over here to the right side. Now you can adjust your zones, make sure it's like cloud flats and stuff. Now you don't have to do this. What you can do is if you want to keep everything kind of looking the same, you can actually hook zone your 3 rec, which is your safety, and user this right side of the field. That's completely up to you. So in this case, I'll do that. The 3 rec is better overall. He didn't come in, but this is actually one of the blitzes that's going to come in more frequently because of the nature of it. It will, of course, come in better if you hover. But, of course, if you do this, right side of the field's open. Here we go. Pressure does come in. So just keep that in mind. When you start hovering, it's going to come in better, but you're also kind of limiting your user a little bit because you just can't get over to the right side of the field as easily. I just rather have the chance of it coming in and be able to play better coverage. That's just me personally, but you guys are free to play how you want. Right here, I would leave like the 3 rec, shade underneath or something, and then I would just like sprint over here and just take away this side of the field. That's what I recommend doing most. Okay, so that's the 3-4 under. I'll be showing that in the gameplay just like everything else. Let's get right into the next formation.